So I'll make this pretty simple. I had a few notes that I was just going to share. So I'll just go through it really quickly. Working with investors, it's good. That's my niche. If this is something that you want as part of your business, then that's great. This is a good class for you on how to work with landlords. If not, then refer it out and get something for your prospecting. For example, Lanisha, I just started, and I said it. If you are interested in helping clients buy rental properties, then this is a good class for you. And you should, listen and focus. If not, then you should refer it out, because while you're prospecting, and if somebody calls you, or you call and you say, hey, just part of your touches, and you say, I'm interested in, the client says, I'm interested in buying a rental property. You say, great. Okay, if you can help with that, well, super. For me, 80% plus is working with investors. Somebody says, hey, can you sell this land? Can you sell a mobile home? Like, no, it's not what I do, but I can refer you to somebody that does. So in the same way, if you decide that this is good for you and you want to make it a big portion of your business, or even 5, 10, 20%, well, great. But if not, then just refer it out and call it a day, get something for it. For me, it's actually, I'm yes and no on working with investors who purchase rentals. I do help them to an extent, but what I've done is I've created a position in my team, which is an investment property buyer specialist. And Sarah, this lady who's going to be working with me later in the summer, is now getting her license. She's worked with investors before, and she's going to be purchasing rental properties on behalf of clients. I just don't have enough time in my day to do everything that I want to do. So I can't do it myself, but I still, there is enough of a need that I can find somebody to work in my company, and there's enough people to do that. So there's 3 reasons that I see that's good it's a good reason to work with investors who are purchasing rental properties. One is obviously the commission. You make whatever commission the sellers are willing to pay, or if you have a big enough, or if you have a buyer brokerage agreement that says 3%, then at least you make 3% commission. We will often supervise work. So for example, if a house needs painting or carpet or whatever it is to get it into rent ready condition, so we will do that for clients. We do charge for that. And then I also get a referral fee to my property manager. I don't do any property management. I did it for about 3 months, and every night at 6 o'clock when we were sitting down to dinner, this guy would call me, and he was calling because there was no mirror in his guest bathroom. And I said, listen, go to Walmart, buy a $10 mirror. I'll send you a check, or it was before Venmo. And just leave me alone. And it took only so many of those calls before I said I can't do it anymore. So I refer out, and my property manager gives me a certain portion of the first month's rent. I think it's like 25%, but it's not a lot. But last month I think I made $800. So it's $800 that I didn't have before. So I'll take it. What I want to do now, any questions so far? Good?
Oh, I do have one, because you said 3 reasons to work with investors to purchase rental properties. Number 1 was commission.
So 3 benefits. 1 is commission. 2 is supervision of work. Okay. So you can charge 5%, 10%, 20%. That's not part of commission. Okay. So they should pay you privately for that, because you are spending your time to renovate the house. Whether that's some people say, well, that's just part of my job. I'll refer them to a contractor, let the contractor do the work. I'll just go see it once or twice, and I'm fine with that. I don't need to charge. But me, if I go see a house and it needs paint and it needs carpet, we gotta put granite in the kitchen or things like that, it starts to add up, and it's trip after trip and getting estimates and that type of thing. So I charge for that, anywhere between 10 and 20%, depends on how much. So if it's a $20,000 renovation and you charge 10%, well, you make $2,000, for going to the house. I provide photos, videos, in the same way I would for my flip properties. So I want often if a landlord or the buyer of the property is located out of the city or overseas or something, they need somebody here. So they say, well, listen, we're about to spend $20,000 on this renovation. Well, I'll spend 22 or 24 or whatever it is. And that way, at least I know my money's being spent wisely. Somebody's going to the house, every 3-4 days, a week, whatever it is, and babysitting the contractor or the subs or whatever it is. And then the third way is referral fee to property manager. Okay. Hey, Michael, how you doing?
Good, you?
Good. So I was just to recap real quick. Working with investors for me is my niche. It's 80% of my business. But if it's not something that you want as part of your business, refer it out, because you're prospecting. So at least with your prospecting, if somebody says I want land or I want a mobile home or something, I don't do that. But I'll refer it. I got a buddy who does mobile homes. Sure. I'll refer it to him. He'll take care of them. And at least I'll make 20, 25, 30% on it.
Right.
So if you do want to purchase a rental property on behalf of clients, then that's a great thing. I'm creating a position for that because I just don't have enough time to do it in my day. There's 3 benefits to that. 1 is you get a commission. Mm-hmm. 2 is if you supervise the work, meaning you purchase a house that needs renovation or paint, carpet, that type of thing. Sometimes if it's just paint and carpet, we'll just do it, as part of the commission. But if it gets to be, granite countertops and getting estimates and that type of thing, then we'll charge for that. And then referral fee to property manager. Property manager will pay. They're making, the first month's rent for renting it out, mm-hmm. and they'll share like 25% of that. So I made $868 or something last month for referring that to a property manager. So, I mean, it's good money, and it's really just a couple emails.
Yeah.
So what I'd like to do, and this is really the basis of the class, is you can see here, basically, this is just a model. I made these spreadsheets, so there might be mistakes, but basically, this is a cash purchase. If somebody purchases a house for $100,000, and by the way, all of these should have formulas attached to them, so you can play with the numbers. For example, if property taxes are $900, well, just put $900 in there, and it will recalculate, or it should, and we'll play with this in a minute. But this is just assuming that the purchase price is $100,000, the repairs are $20,000. I can send y'all these this spreadsheet if you want.
Yes, please. Thank you.
And so what we're calling the all-in is everything that we've spent money on. If this is an off-market property that you brought to your client, and they are to pay you a commission, well, just tack on, if your agreed upon commission is 3%, well, just throw $3,000, and then you can just say, okay, the purchase price is not $100, mm-hmm. but the purchase price is $103, and so that changes everything. But let's just okay. So we've got the purchase price of $100, the repairs at $20, and our all-in is $120. Why is that number important? That's probably our most important number. That's what all the percentages are based on. Okay? So if we see that the monthly rent is $1,200, then the annual rent, or we can call it the gross annual rent, is $14,400. Okay, $14,400. So if we were to look at that in a percentage, before we start taking, after all expenses, the net ROI is 7% or 6.96. But because we had to take off insurance and property taxes and yearly repairs and property management and all of those things, you'll notice that the property management here is 8%. Some property managers will charge a flat fee. I think mine charges like $85 a month, and it doesn't matter if the property rent is $1,000 or $2,000. He doesn't care. He says it's whatever price. I don't remember. I think it's $85, which is the equivalent of an $850 rent at 10%. But if it's $2,000, then that's much cheaper. So it's going to be like 4%. But basically, we just start subtracting all of these things. We have, can everybody see here? Our annual rent is $1,440, and then we basically start subtract the insurance. Sometimes insurance might be higher or lower, depends on the person, depends on the property, depends on the roof. By the way, the roof is the most important part of the property insurance. One of my insurance salespeople told me that if a roof is in good shape, the insurance will be cut almost in half, because most of their claims have to do with the roof. So you can get insurance down, or potentially down, maybe by replacing the roof. Nobody wants a tenant calling with a leaky roof anyway, right? Kind of the same thing with toilets or showers or heating or cooling, anything like that. Let me see. Okay, then we have property taxes. Those you can just get from from Realist or the property tax website on the county. Keep in mind that this can change. For example, if somebody purchases a property that has a homestead exemption on it now, and next year, who's going to be the owner of record January 1st? An investor. They're going to lose their homestead exemption. So you need to add that. So even though, I put here 1,900, this is just a random numbers, but I put property taxes at 1,900. Well, if there's a homestead exemption on this, then it might go up to 2,600, and that's going to skew the numbers. So, we can even plug it in here. We see that the ROI is 6.96. If we do property taxes at 2,500, we just went down by 0.5, and that really skews the numbers. But you can play with this on this spreadsheet. The yearly repairs, I put 1,500. To me that's a random number. What if we did really put $20,000 into repairs? Well, we're assuming that the roof is in good condition. The windows are all locking and unlocking properly. They'll open and shut. The kitchen and the appliances are all in good condition. The plumbing, the electrical, the HVAC, all of those things are in good condition. Do we need $1,500 for the yearly repairs? Maybe, maybe not. If that's the case, you can put it down. If it's a property manager that has lots of properties, 200, 300. So every time they call for a plumber, it's going to be much cheaper than if you or I were to call for a plumber. Maybe a service call from a plumber is $125, but for this property manager, it's $60 because he has so much business. So it's going to be cheaper. So there's a lot of things, a lot of places we can get the numbers down. And then the property management here, I put it 8%. I've seen anywhere, between from a flat rate to 10%. 10% is usually like whoa, that property manager is expensive. It really depends on what they provide. And a relationship with if you do this, then a relationship with at least 2 property managers is really important, because we need to refer our clients to the right people. In the same way that this painter is better for this client and this painter is better for that client. You know, we always try to keep 2-3 of everything in our back pockets, right? So the same thing with a property manager. You know, if somebody's spending 10% on property management, maybe the client is overseas. Maybe they want an online portal to be able to see in real time what is going on with their property. You know, today's the 6th. Was rent received by the 5th? Yes, I can see it because they deposited, or at least they have access to my check, or deposited the rent. Now it's the 6th, you know, at 10:34 this morning. I want to know that, and that's worth it to me to pay 10%, so that I have an online portal. I know, you know, every request. I have all my receipts. And other property managers will just send, you know, once a year an Excel spreadsheet saying, this is how much rent we collected, this is how much we spent, you know, on property taxes, insurance, all of those things, and that's it. It's probably cheaper. Again, we have to know our clients to know which ones are the C's and which ones are the I's. So, and then the total expenses. So here we see the total expenses are $6,000. And then the net annual rent is $83.48. So that is what the owner of the property is going to make, $8,348. And then if you see, the annual ROI is basically cell B12. You can see here, this net annual rent is divided by the all-in, which is B4. So this divided by, so 83.48 divided by 120 gives us an annual ROI of 6.96. That's really low. So we probably didn't purchase this property. If that's something, you know, if this was the bottom line, then we probably didn't purchase it. Now, how can we change that? You know, might be something that you see an off-market property and you estimate, gosh, I'm looking at the pictures and it's like, gosh, it needs a new kitchen, it needs paint, it needs you know, whatever it needs. So, you know, we kind of know the numbers, so we can say that it would be 20,000. Well, what if it's only 10,000? So now we can see that our all-in is 110, and so means our annual ROI went to 7.59. Yeah.
What would you consider a good annual ROI?
It depends on who you ask.
I'm asking you.
Yeah. So
I know there's so
I
many
understand your
factors
question.
that play a role.
So I would say an 8% minimum.
Okay.
Is really where you need to be. Why I like rental properties is because if you're making 8%. And you hold it for 10 years, well, $100,000 property in 10 years is going to be worth 175, 180, 225. I don't know. I mean, it depends on where we're catching the market. Generally, we're looking for about an 8% return minimum. Okay. Most, you know, some people say, you know, we need 10, 12%. You know, and it's like, it depends. Do they have partners? You know, is it one property? Is it 10 properties? You know,
I get it,
but
yeah.
Generally, it's most will say 8 to 10%.
Okay.
Michael, you have a question?
Mm-hmm. Okay. I just figured out that other sum too for net annual rent.
Say it again.
I just figured out that other sum for net annual rent.
Oh, how I got there?
Yeah, this is a great spreadsheet.
Okay, you have it, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So yeah, basically the annual rent is B6, and just subtract all of these things. You can totally play with any of these numbers. You know, if you just have realist and you know the monthly rent, the monthly rent will change. If you're trying to rent a house out in December, you might only get $1,100. Trying to rent it out in April, May, you might get $1,400. So that's something to consider also.
Do you typically encourage clients to do bumps up in rent every year over year? I know it's probably client specific, but
in theory, you should be. The GAR forms on the lease, I think, have it at a 5%. That's huge.
year over year increase?
I think it's 5%. So usually, I encourage my clients to renegotiate after a year.
Okay.
And we did this. I actually manage one property. It's really a favor to a friend, because she's teaching overseas. She's in China, so she has almost no access. If something happens to the house, she can't do anything.
Sure.
But it's one tenant. He's been there 3-4 years. Everything's fine. But we had to negotiate his rent last year, and it went from $1,600 or something. If you do the math, it came out to like $1,735 or something like that. And he was like, there is no way that I'm paying $1,735. So we said, listen, you're a great tenant. Number one, if he moves out, then we for sure have to replace the carpets, probably have to paint, and who knows what else. It's going to cost at least $5,000.
Sure.
So we said, we do need to bump it up, but will you accept $1,700? And he said, yeah, that sounds fair. So I think we settled at $1,705 or something like that. And now we left the rent the same on a month to month because he's moving out.
Sure.
So it really depends on the short answer to your question is yes. In theory, you need to negotiate every year some bump up of the rent. And I've heard from different people that it's basically to say, I'm the landlord, you're not going to walk all over me.
Yeah, right.
Even if it's $20 a month.
Right.
Yeah.
It went from $1,500 to $1,525. Basically saying, I need to look out for my property.
Right. I'm just following the market.
Exactly. The
And that
problem
might be
is,
easier.
what? Say it again.
And that might be easier to do like $25 or $50 increments year over year as opposed to doing 3 years and then trying to bump it up 150 and then being like, whoa,
Exactly.
that's a big jump.
But the GAR forms have it where it's like 5%.
Yeah.
So, and that's a lot of money. So, I don't remember what it was, but whatever. It was a lot of money.
Do you typically trust what you see on Realist for taxes? Do you have like a backup check to make sure it's...
My backup is just straight property, the property tax website.
Okay.
Like just go to DeKalb County property tax website or Fulton or whatever, and check that out.
Okay.
That I trust because you can also see the letter that was sent to them. At least DeKalb County, I'm pretty sure you can. That letter that you get for being a property owner.
Yep.
So you can see that actual letter.
Cool.
And then you can see when they made the payment. You can. Usually it's a mortgage company who's making the payment.
Right.
Sometimes they'll make one huge payment for the whole thing, and so you can see that that's probably just a homeowner.
Okay.
So this is a spreadsheet that I made myself. Actually, let's go to this one. It's probably easier. I just did a search for how to create a spreadsheet of a mortgaged property. So on this one, it's a little bit more complicated, but I really like this one for a few reasons. Let's just say that the purchase price is $100,000. This should be about the same property. We bought it for $100,000, and we have to put $15,000 in repairs. Okay. So at first, if we're going to purchase for $100,000 a rental property, some lenders will say it's 25% down payment. I'm just assuming here that it's 20%. So, which means that my principal is 80. Okay, you see up there 80 it's a 30-year loan, and then all of this mumbo jumbo is the different formulas that I copied and pasted from Excel, from some help online. And so I see that my monthly payment, or the mortgage portion of the payment, is $430. Okay. Actually, I think on this one, yeah. So if we look at this one, the purchase price is $290. The principal is $246.5. Oh, hold on. Let's do that. Yeah. So this is assuming that we're putting down the 20%, and so this $1,317 is the actual mortgage payment. That's not the entire payment. In order to see the entire monthly payment, we go here because we have to add insurance and we have to add property taxes.
Those are annual numbers though, so you pro
Exactly.
Okay.
So if you look, it's really hard to see here. You can see it on your computer. But if you look up at the top, we have D9, which is the rent, plus 1/12 of the insurance, 1/12 of property taxes, and that gives me my payment, interest, taxes, and insurance, PITI. Okay, so my monthly payment is there. Now, why do I like this spreadsheet? Because you can see, and you'll see why I decided not to buy this property. But basically,
negative, huh?
Yeah, this is a real property that I really, really wanted to buy. But once I plugged in the numbers, my emotions could not overcome the numbers. So I put a 6% interest rate. We could drop it to 5%. It's not going to change it that much. No repairs because it's in pretty good condition. No acquisition fee, and I have that just in case it's from if we have to add our commissions. So the all-in here is $290. So rent here would be $1,800. So I multiply that by 12. Here are my mortgage payments, my insurance, taxes, repairs, and I put that at 5%. That's probably about right. More than $1,000, somebody's starting to abuse the house if the house is in good condition. I would be managing it myself, so there's no property management, there's no HOA. The total expenses are that's the net annual rent, so I'm actually going to lose $1,900 a year. And so I really like this because I've got two different scenarios that I created here, and it's kind of bad because we're in a negative on this one, so I wasn't going to buy this house. But if we look the net annual rent, so we have the annual ROI, but then we have an out-of-pocket all in and out-of-pocket annual ROI. So what's the difference there? The difference is if I'm putting money down, in this case it is, let's just call it $60,000 down to purchase the property. Forget about closing costs right now. But if I put the difference of the $290, the 20% basically, if I put down 20%, that's what this figure is. Actually, it's not right, but that's okay. So I've got my out-of-pocket is $43,500. Why is that? Hold on, it's bothering me. Before.
Is that like almost the difference in down payment? No.
50. Okay, there we go. Yeah, so my down payment is going to be, in this case, $58,000. Okay, that's all that I pulled out of my pocket to buy the house. So if I'm making, let's just call it $500 a month, and it comes out to, let's just say $5,800 for the year, then I'm going to be making here a 10% return on my investment. Okay, because I've only paid I'm only making $5,800, and I only put out $58,000. So I'm making 10% on my actual money that I spent. So that's one way that I want to see it. Others may not do that, but I'm saying I'm making 10% annual on my money. That's pretty good, because really somebody else is paying all of this. Now, if we look at the actual, like this is more on the cash basis of my investment. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Now the advantage here is really all I had to do was put down $58,000, and now somebody else is paying my mortgage, and in theory, if I weren't losing money, then it would be a great deal. But because I'm losing money here, obviously we didn't purchase it. Let's see if the other one is any better. So yeah, you can see here, it's a purchase of $100,000. There's $15,000 in repairs. So if we drop down here, you see this cell B17.
Yeah.
It would be a $20,000 down payment plus the $15,000 for repairs. My out-of-pocket all-in is only $35,000. And if we do the monthly payment, so $429 plus insurance plus taxes. So let's just do this to make it easier. So that would be, actually, can I do this? Did that work? Oh, it's D8.
It's better.
D8, B11, is that right? Property taxes, and B12. No, so I need 10 and 11. Yeah, so my payment is, so my full monthly payment would be $654. So if I am making, so my mortgage payment is $654 and the rent is $1,200. So I'd be making $550 extra every month from the rent. This to me looks like a good deal. So we can see that, and this is where, I don't know if it's just me and my cockamamie calculations, but the annual ROI, somebody might say, this is terrible, it's only 3.4%. Yes, but you only had to put down $35,000, and so therefore the difference between this $654 and the $1,200 rent minus the repairs is going to give me a return of 11%. So if somebody can get a mortgage on their property, then this one would be, I think, a really good one. Most people, if they have a mortgaged property, will say that they want to make at least $300. But again, that's totally an individual thing. You know, some people say, I want to make $300 on top of someone else paying my mortgage, you know, and they take that money, put it in savings, and if there are repairs, then they have the money. That's basically my friend who is overseas. She's a teacher right now. She doesn't have a 403B that she can contribute to because her international program does not have any retirement. So I said, listen, keep the house. She has an interest rate of like 4%. Somebody else is paying her mortgage. She's making a couple $100 and just putting that money into savings every month. And in addition, somebody's paying her mortgage down. The price of the house is appreciating. So So at some point, you know, in the next, say 20, 25 years, she will have when she's ready to retire, she'll either have that monthly income or she'll have a house that she can sell for, you know, 300, 350, whatever it is. But in the meantime, you know, it doesn't hurt as long as she's got a good tenant and somebody is paying the rent. Questions on the mortgage property spreadsheet or any of my calculations?
What did you guys find his spreadsheet?
Where is this?
Yeah.
I made this.
Okay, but isn't he having it up on his computer?
Michael, you have my spreadsheet?
I don't know. I was kind of making my own.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure. Okay.
Did you email this out?
I emailed it to a few people after my last class.
Can I give you my email address?
Absolutely. Yeah.
I feel
If
like
everybody will just shoot me their email.
Yeah.
You
There's
know,
text
sent this to me.
Yeah, that's cool. I'll get to it in just a few.
Okay.
So, you know, just to review, what we talked about today may be something that you say, hey, I can do this. You know, that this is just another, you know, tool in my tool belt. Some people say, no, I don't want to do that. This is way too much. It's just, you know, when I call people and I ask them if they have a need to buy, sell, or invest in real estate, if they say yes to investing, well, I better refer that out because that is not my wheelhouse. I have no desire to do that. So you can certainly refer it out and make something, or you can do it yourself. You know, I like to have this as one of my tools because it fits along with what I do. But if it's not what you do, then just refer it out.
Do you do more of these rentals versus flips?
No.
You do more flips?
Oh yeah. Because a flip is more lucrative for me.
Sure.
Because I have a potential of 4 streams of income on every flip. Me personally, I have the purchase commission, the sales commission, I have the profit share, and indirectly when my wife stages it. So I do say that because I do, you know, I am part owner in her staging company. So I can't say, in a way, I am making money, and I try to disclose that. On a rental, there might be purchase. I mean, here there's three streams of income here, and they're much less. Now it's a lot less work. I don't have to find the renter. I just have to help my client purchase it.
Right.
If they are not local or they want me to help them supervise the work, then I'll do that for a fee. But these are things that take away from my, you know, it's like an opportunity cost in a way. You know, by making 2,000 here, I might not have time to make 10,000 here.
Sure.
So then I'm not making 2,000, I'm really losing 8.
Right.
So I have to, and that's why I am, and then the referral to the property manager. Most property managers will do something for that.
Sure.
So I had to decide, but I think I have people that tell me, well, we want to purchase rental all the time. So now I'm hiring somebody. She's right now taking her exam, and she'll be licensed in about a month.
Where does the profit share come from in the flip situation?
If I am managing the entire project. So for example, you're in, I've got clients in California, or out of Atlanta, and they say, here's money, flip us a house. And I say, okay, be more than happy to do that. Now every time I go to the house, costs me money in a way, so I need to have some sort of profit share built in, usually 50%. So after all expenses.
We said
So he's
5
referring to, not
5-0.
KW, you're not referring to, not KW profit share. You're
That's where I was-
referring to-
I was like, wait,
That's
sorry.
partnering,
So
yeah,
profit
yeah. I
share
thought
on
you
the
were saying-
project. So let's say we buy for 100, we renovate for 50, we sell for 200. After all expenses, we have 30,000 left over. That's 20% return. 30 over 150 gives us 20%.
Right.
So there's 30,000. You gave me the money to do the project. I did everything, I returned you your principal plus 15. So you just made not 20%, you made 10%. The project made 20, you made 10% on your money, let's say in 6 months. Are you happy making 10% in 6 months?
Yes.
Most people are, because the stock market makes them 8 to 12% annually.
Yep.
So if they can make 10%
So we get
in
twice as
6
much.
months,
Yep.
that's right. But I
Yeah, it's
also,
like profit shares. He turning his clients
Yeah.
into KW agents
Yeah.
somehow too in the process.
I need you to cap in 2 months or less.
That's something you can add eventually, right?
Well, I am doing that because what I did was people approach me and say, hey, we want to flip. Okay, why don't you become an agent and you can make money from your commissions? I said, that's a great idea. I said, and you can come to our office because we've got a great office for that. So I've brought 2 people on and I've got 1 more
Cha-ching.
before the end of the summer.
What is the 4th one? Yeah, purchase commission, sales commission, your profit share.
And my wife's staging.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Thank you. Ooh la la, right?
Exactly.
Not on Saturdays.
That's right. You can call on Saturday. You get my
Nobody
voicemail.
Yeah.
I get hers too.
Those are my favorite classes we've ever done.
Yeah, it's fun.
Oh, it's staging.
No, when you discussed you and your wife discussed what Saturday means to them.
Oh,
And
yeah,
how they
yeah.
explain to their clients what Saturday means to them.
Yeah,
That was a really cool
that
class.
was.
It's really cool to see my daughter's phone in the drawer for 25 hours. She's 13.
On a Saturday.
13-year-old girl,
Wow.
and she puts her phone in the drawer from Friday night until Saturday night.
You did something right.
We went to
My
dinner
husband do that.
for Cinco de Mayo last night, and there was a family with 3 kids, and all 3 of their kids had their earbuds in, and they were just staring at their screens. And I was like,
Uh-huh.
"That's the same." I'm like,
What? Let me order you a pizza for
Right.
$12, and honey, we'll go out to eat.
Yeah. All the babysitters.
Then you can spend more on your wife.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't do that. But don't judge people until you're in their shoes, right?
That's right.
Other questions? If something comes up later on, I can certainly email this to you. If you have more questions, let me know. You can call, text, or email me, and I'll be more than happy to answer those questions.
Great.
Might take a little marinating for the questions to settle. But I really like the spreadsheets because you can play with the numbers. And if somebody calls you and says, hey, I'm interested in buying this rental property at, whatever, 123 Main Street. And so you're like, okay, how much are we buying it for? Great. How much is it going to rent for? And I would encourage you to have a relationship with a couple property managers in the same way that we contact attorneys for the legal description. We also need to get the exact rent, because I asked my property manager, can I just look in FMLS to find out the rent? He goes, most of the time that's correct. Well, I don't need most of the time, I need all the time.
Right.
So he said to me, there's one other place that property managers pull figures from. And so I said, I'm looking at this and I see it's about $1,250. He goes, actually it's about $1,400. Well, $150 a month buys you a lot of house.
Right.
So, that could be the difference here in a mortgage property, in making money or losing money. So he gave me the price. Now I can go back to the client and say, okay, here's the spreadsheet. If we're just looking at a cash basis, the property is $100,000. Here I say that we can rent it for $1,200. Well, if it's $1,400, we just gained $200. That's a lot of money on a monthly basis.
Put 1,400 in there real quick. Bang. Almost got us 10%.
I mean, and if we somehow, if we bought it and there was already a renter in there, because I just listed 5 properties today with renters in there, all you have to do is buy the house. Now we're at 10.5%. See how, some numbers won't make a difference. For example, you say to yourself, well, property taxes are going to go up by $600 when the homestead exemption comes off. So now look at the ROI. Not that much. I mean, to me, that's not earth-shattering, but it's still 0.5%.
Right.
somebody else might, it might drop them down under 9, and they say, you know what, I don't buy anything under 9. Okay, that's your rules. Some say 8, some say 12, some say 15. It's like,
Okay.
they call me and I'm like, best of luck to you, sir.
Yeah.
I mean, it's those C personalities that really want everything. They want that perfect rental property. They want it renovated. They want it making 15% a year. Yeah. They want their cake and eat it too.
Yep.
So you can just play with these numbers all you want. You can even, if somebody's credit is shot, then their insurance is probably going to be much higher. So, even though they might have cash, a lot of real estate investors have really bad credit. I was guilty of that until about 3 years ago, because I just made bad decisions in 2013 and 14. My credit went down, and then insurance went up for every property. Now I finally turned that around, but that's something to consider. If insurance is $1,800, well that's another, what is that, $25 a month? Yeah, $25 a month. And it starts to make a difference. Repairs, is the property manager really making repairs that need to be made, or is it something the tenant called and said, we need new pine straw? Well, great. Look in the lease and see that the pine straw should be the tenant's responsibility. Mm-hmm. So no, we're not paying for that. But is the property manager paying for that pine straw and then charging the owner? Well, we need to have a conversation about that.
Yeah, I was just about to ask when you mentioned it, because you have repairs and you have maintenance, and usually maintenance falls on the tenant, where repairs falls on the landlord, correct? Kinda.
It depends. Usually lawn care and basic landscaping is on the tenant.
Right.
But what if it's a duplex? Who's paying the water? There's some properties that, like my brother rents an apartment. He gets basic cable, he gets water, he gets trash, sewer, all that type of stuff. And I think they charge him like $50 a month for all of those things, or $50 per person. They pick up the trash outside his door, things like that. But who pays that? Is it the landlord or is it the tenant? He happens to be in a building, but I'm just saying those are questions that we need to think about. That who is paying for that landscaping? This tenant that I manage called and said, "Will you pay for pine straw?" He said, "I'll buy it. My son will install it, and it's going to cost about $150." So he's technically supposed to pay for that. He doesn't ask for anything. So I asked the owner of the property, I said, "Will you pay for it?" It's going to be $70. He'll just deduct it from the rent. She said, "Absolutely, no problem." For $70, he barely spends any money. Yeah. So it's really, it was kind of, we could have, the letter of the law says that he should pay for that. The spirit of the law is,
What keeps him happy?
Yeah, well, if that makes him happy, then
that'd be $70, right?
Yeah, it's not a lot. But if he had asked for the toilet last week, and now he asked for this, and he asked for that, and now the carpet is totally torn up, but it's like, don't ask for the whole hand. So, all right, looks like our time is about up. If you have any other questions, you can contact me anytime, and I'll be more than happy to answer.
Adee, I'll see your email with our emails on it, and you can just reply with the spreadsheet.